Everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Mystical Wellness podcast. Today we have a fascinating guest. We are joined by Rick Paul, who is a spiritual psychic medium who delivers heartfelt readings with honesty, empathy, and deep trust in the spiritual world. Using tarot, angel cards, and his intuitive connection to other realms, Rick brings through the guidance and messages his clients most need to hear. A passionate neurodiversity advocate, he speaks with clarity and truth, always saying what he sees and feels straight from the heart. So welcome, Rick. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine, and thank you for the welcome. I like the write-up. That sounds really good, that. Let's hope I can live up to it.
It's great to have you here, and thank you so much already. You've been giving all amazing wisdom, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did it start for you? How did you know that you were psychic?
The simple answer to that, and we'll start with the story, is that I still don't know I am psychic. Like, I still don't know that I am a medium, because this is where the thought thinker comes in. To me, there's been a series of adventures that began when I was in the prison service towards the end of my time. So I'm a prison officer of 12 years experience. And I was struggling with anxiety and depression, and I'd been previously diagnosed with PTSD. And I knew that I couldn't carry on the way that I was going. So I do like everybody does and sense out some thoughts and hope that somebody listens to me, somebody helps, somebody waves that magic wand. Anyway, that never happened. So what happened was, towards the end of my time, I was in hospital with a kidney stone, stressed, really, really struggling, knew that I needed to change direction, was in touch with my intuition that I felt like I needed to change direction. But like everybody, I've got things that responsibilities. I've had a mortgage, 3 kids, a wife, and everything that everybody else has to contend with. And I'm going, this is not just an easy fix. I can't just like throw it all up in the air because, I've got the Mardies on, as I would call it. I need to find some way of dealing with this. So I ended up in hospital, and it was in a short stay emergency unit. So there was people coming in and out of it. So short conversations with people, gone the next minute. Short conversations, gone. Anyway, I'm laid in bed and quite a lot of pain, feeling very stressed and nervous about what I was going to do in the future. And I looked across, and there was a guy laid in the bed opposite me, and he'd got a tan, right? So I'm like, oh, his tan looks really good. What's he in here for? But if you've ever seen anybody with cancer, it brings up a certain complexion. I see it as a green tint, right? But this tan was over the green tint. Well, me, that drew my curiosity. Had to go and find out more. Had to be nosy. So I went across to him, and we struck up a conversation. Now, bearing in mind, this is for adult viewers, but I just want to put a picture in people's mind for a start. So, in pain, extremely dehydrated, wearing one of the hospital gowns that don't matter which way you put it, you're going to end up showing something that you don't want to show. Drag the
That's
drip
so
stand,
true.
because in my mind, what I wanted to do was help somebody. So as soon as this guy started to come round, I thought he might want a drink. So I dragged my drip stand over, and I get him a glass of water, and we start talking. So I said to him, what's your story, basically? And he said, well, I've just come back from a safari, and I can never remember where the place was. It was either Kenya or Nairobi. And he said, I'm ticking things off my bucket list. I said, oh, okay. He said, I've got end-stage cancer.
Wow.
He says, and I don't know how long I've got left to live. He says, but I'm basically enjoying the time that I've got, and I'm in for a routine procedure now, and I should be out tomorrow or the day after. So, okay, what's your story? So it all comes spilling out. Stressed prison officer, anxious, know I need to make changes, and I'm not sure what to do. So he said, can I offer you a piece of advice? I said, you certainly can. He says, don't sweat the small stuff. And then I don't know if you've ever given this answer to somebody before, when they say give you a piece of advice and you go, oh, well, it's easier said than done, because, and then you fill in your part of the story. well, this is how I'm reacting. You're not going to understand all of that because this is and you make this story. And he said, well, the only person that's going to suffer from that is you. And I thought, he's right there. So we carried on another conversation about all sorts of different things and go to sleep as you tend to do. Following morning, as the nurses are doing the rounds, they come to his thing, do his tests and whatever, and he goes off to the shower and the toilet and to do his whatever. I'm absolutely desperate for the toilet, but I've been told that I'm not allowed to go under my own steam. I've got to have the bowl. I've gone, no, that's not happening. Can you do your tests and let me go? Well, no, I argued with me. I said, I'm going under my own steam. So do what you need to do, and then I'm going to the toilet. Well, as I got up to come out of the bay that I was in, the gentleman I'd been talking to was walking back towards me. He got to like, I don't know, 6-10 foot away. And then he went like that. And he hit the deck, face down, he couldn't protect himself. I looked at him and I thought, oh my God. Right. So protocols all come in. People have then put like out of the way so they can bring the paddles. Anyway, long story short, unfortunately, he passed away.
Wow. Okay.
Right in front of me. And I was remembering back then to his last conversation that he had with me, don't sweat the small stuff. And I thought, how relevant is that? Because I'm pretty sure that what he was stressing about or worrying about, he'd like to be here now dealing with it rather than wherever he is. So this is all laid around in my mind. I then go back to work, right, on light duties, and I'm stood there watching prisoners do what prisoners do with absolutely no interest whatsoever. And somebody came up to speak to me and went, oh, it's good to see you back. I hear you've been poorly. I says, I have. I says, but you know what I'm like. I says, I'm a stress head. I worry myself over all sorts of things. I says, enough of that anyway. I says, how are you? He says, I'm being medically retired. And I looked at him and I said, medically retired, big, huge guy, footballer, weightlifter, gym goer. And he said, I've got end stage cancer, mate.
Wow.
And I was, and if you've ever noticed working with spirit, there's synchronicities. You notice the pattern, you start to change direction. So I'm going, I couldn't process this. And it was like a cold shiver going into me. And I thought, this is another hint. This is another push that I need to make changes. Now, my belief system with spirit and working with energy is that spirit are what I say non-coercive, which means they won't push you. And they're also non-judgmental. So if you do or don't do something, they're not going to sit and judge you. They're just going to wait for you to make that next move. So, right, I need to do something. So very long story short, with that, I got out of the prison service with a good compensation deal. That then leads you to what's my next move. So I've been a prison officer for 12 years. I'm very black and white. And I decided at 40 years of age with a very bad back and an injury that I thought it was best for me to go to college and learn how to plaster.
All right.
So I went and did a plastering diploma at the local college for a year. My first day there, the teacher said to me, what the bloody hell, or words to that effect, are you doing here? At your age, this will kill you. But I thought, no,
I've literally just done 10 years in construction, and plasterers, you need to be quite nimble. That's not an easy job.
You need to be young, you need to be agile, and you definitely don't need an injury. You need a hunger for it. And I learnt to my detriment that I wasn't that person. But to supplement my income, because I wasn't getting a lot of plastering, I went and worked on a building site, just general labouring. And this is where it takes the spiritual turn, because one morning I'm in a garage unloading plasterboards ready for the next lot of people coming in. Looked up, and in the corner of the room was my granddad. Right, my granddad at that point had been gone nearly 10 years. Now, me being a very black and white person, what is this? Right, I do not understand any of this sort of thing. This is ooky, this is spooky, and I'm not quite sure what to do with it. Now, I recognise my granddad, and it's very rare even to this day that I actually physically see spirit, but I could see him as clear as day, stood in the corner of the room with his cap on and what we called his cadging bag, because he used to go out and he'd do deals with people and swap stuff and things like that. He would always scrounge something of purpose. And then it presents you with a dilemma, because you think, right, now who do I go and talk to about this sort of thing? If I go to the doctors and telling them all of a sudden I've started hearing voices and seeing my granddad who's been gone 10 years, I think he's going to have me in a tight tracksuit and taking some funny tablets. So I thought, what can I do about this? Where can I go? Now, I've always been fascinated by what mediums do. But what I consider myself to be is what I would call an open-minded skeptic.
Right.
It's like with lots of things that, yeah, it's okay if you believe in that sort of thing, but it's never really happened to me. So I'll keep an open mind on it. So go down to the local spiritualist church, and a lady comes from behind the counter and gives me a big hug. Right now, if you can imagine that the 12 years previous of my job, where somebody tried to come up and hug me in any way, shape, or form, it's going to be met with a totally different response. So I sort of hung there,
Yeah.
and she said, "Hello, I'm whatever the name was," and I said, "Oh." She said, "Have you done this sort of thing before?" I said, "No." She says, "Well, just enjoy it." She says, "And by the way," she said, "you've got a future at this." I looked at her and I went, "Future at what?" She said, "Mark my words, within 18 months, you'll be up on platform and you will be starting to work with spirit. Because you've got
Amazing.
that potential." And I went, "No, I haven't." So that story then spread out as spirit often do, where they lay you a few breadcrumbs down on the pathway and you gobble them up because you're enthusiastic and you want to know more. And I had 3 years at the spiritualist church, attending the church circles and learning how to stand up in front of people and read and things like that. But all I saw myself as was T-boy. Help put the in books away, help put the chairs away. For that, I was given the opportunity to go down to Stansted, which anybody who knows spiritualist circles, Stansted is like the Mecca for mediums and spirits. And I thought, the trouble is somebody like me who is a gob on a stick, I'm going to go down there with my usual amount of blah and no finesse, and I'm going to upset somebody. And I was bricking myself. So I drove down to Stansted. I had a week at Stansted, and it was amazing. I was encouraged to just do what I did, and that was it. That sort of set me on the road. So then you look at what spirit provide you as well. So I've had training with some well-known mediums. I've done my own research and things like that. But I thought that'll do me. All I want to do is just help people. I don't want to see people sad around me. If I can make that connection, I'll do that. Have you ever thought about doing other types of readings? No, not really. Well, you should be, because you should be on the professional circuit. And I'm like, no, yeah. Well, when my confidence is better, when I can deliver better, when I'm put the butt
Yeah.
in all of the time, when I can do this. But anyway, somebody came up to me who trained and worked with me and went, "Do you know what? Oh, you frustrate me. You just drive me mad, because you've got all of the potential in the world and you won't do it. I want to smash your head into that wall because it frustrates me. Somebody that's got that drive about him and you don't do anything with it." And I went, "Because I've not no confidence." Well, how do you know that you haven't got confidence until you're in the situation to try your confidence out? So this is where fate steps in. I got a message from a organizer that said, "Would you like to come and do our shows?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." Because I'm notoriously tight with money. So it involved investing in myself.
The
And
show
somebody,
circuit is not for people on a tight budget. It really isn't.
no. And I
It's
was,
crippled me a couple of times being in the show circuit. Yeah, and I
yeah,
haven't always got it back. So I'm
and
trying to
it
ease
is.
out. I'm trying to ease
It's,
out at the moment.
it's a gamble, isn't it?
It
It's one of
is.
those
Yeah.
things. So I got my big boy pants on and I invested 90 of my hard earned pounds on this event at a close, it's quite close to me, about 20, 30 miles away. And I thought, okay, we'll go and give it a go. Anyway, not long after that, I then get a message to say that we have taken on extra venues and we cannot now promote 2 venues in the same space at the same time. So you've got 2 options. Right, okay, so I'm like this might be my get out course now. I'll get my money back and I can run away from this with my head held high. Anyway, the 2 options were have your money back, no questions asked, or 2, you can go to Lincoln and do the 2-day show and still do the show.
Yeah.
Oh, now I thought I'm from Lincoln. I'm a Lincoln lad. I've been in Lincoln since my dad came out of the army in 1975. So I know Lincoln. I know Lincoln people, and I thought I can't lose here, can I? Just got to go for it. So I put my name down and I go to do Lincoln, and I do my first 2-day show, and it was an incredible experience. And all I did was I sat there with my cards. I used my training that I'd been given on how to read tarot and angel cards because, in my humble opinion, everybody has got the potential to be a psychic. Not everybody's got the potential to be a medium. You can either do it or you can't, and it takes practice. And you're never the completed article. So I just sat there, and the one thing that I've always had from day one with spirit is trust in them. Where the downfall comes in, and this is what we were discussing off camera, is that I don't always trust this.
Right.
I'm the deliverer. A medium to me is just a conduit for delivering energy. It's not about the person. So I've had to sort of work on the confidence aspect of that I can sit here and blar in front of the camera all day long because it's my mask. It's my performance that when I get like nervous or embarrassed, I play the role. You know, you get your instant clown hat on and you do what you now you've got to take into consideration that you are now dealing with somebody else's energy and it's not a performance anymore. But I thought I'll do that. So I had a very successful weekend. Don't know how. So the next part of that, where that evolves, was Rick, would you like to do a talk? And this is where this talk that I'm giving now evolved from. My answer was single worded and sent back quite quickly. No. Right? No, can't imagine doing that whatsoever. Too fearful of standing up in front of an audience and not knowing my subject matter because I've got to trust somebody else to be able to deliver. So here's a thought, says the organizer. How about you talk about your journey from the prison officer to your spiritual guide and whatever it is that you're doing now, and mention about the journey, how you've got there. Just be honest. And then if you get at the end where you've got 10, 15 minutes or something like that, start to deliver any messages. So I'm like, okay, maybe. So I'm sat there about 10 minutes to go before the deadline to walk into this room, and I'm bricking it. You know, you find out that adrenaline's actually got a very funny color. I'm sat there telling myself all of these reasons why I can't do this situation. I can't manage it. I can't cope with it. I'm not good enough. What's anybody going to want to listen to me for? And a lady comes across and starts to talk to me. And she said, "Oh, you're a medium, are you?" I said, "Well, that's what it says on the banner." She says, "I do mediumship." And my brain clicked into gear really quick. And I thought, right. I said, "I'm doing a presentation in a few moments." I says, "And I haven't got a clue what I'm going to say." I says, "I am really nervous." I says, "Here's an idea. If you want the opportunity to go and do mediumship, how about you come in that room with me, right? And you give any messages, and then if I've got anything, I'll give a message out." And she went, "Oh, no, 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 no. I don't do that in front of people. So no screen or things like that or emails. No." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I walked into this room, and I will never forget it because it was the first place I ever sort of got up and spoke. It was in a place in Nottingham, or near Nottingham, quite damp, quite a small room, potential for about 25, 30 chairs in there. I walked in, there's 3 people.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So I thought, hey, we're all right here. We're on to a winner because these 3 people, number one, and most importantly, was my wife, who's heard all of my shit before. all of my little stories. She's been on the ride with me for a long time, so I don't have to prove anything to her. Number two was an ex-colleague from the prison service who knew that I was delivering this talk that day and I was shitting myself. So she'd come to give me moral support. So I'm like, yay, can't lose with her. And the third person was the person that had just paid to have the last reading with me. So
Oh,
I took that
perfect.
as a good indicator that if she's come into the talk as well, I must have done all right in the reading. So I can't lose there. So
Yeah.
formulated this plan in my mind. When I go in there, I'm just going to talk from the heart. I'm going to give whatever I've got to give. If it goes belly up, I'm going to tell a few jokes and I'm going to get out there as quickly as possible to hide my embarrassment. I cannot stand having like tables, chairs, and clutter around me. So I
Yeah.
go in there with my bottle of water, a clock, and I start rearranging the furniture. I'll be with you in a minute, guys. I'm just sorting this thing out. So moved everything out the way, put my bottle of water down on the table, took a very deep breath, turned round, and the room was full.
Wow.
Right, there was people right out the door, and I'm like, oh my god, I just don't know. And this is where I say about the trust and the faith in the spirit world comes in, because I delivered the story, and I used a lot of comedy because that's what I'm like when I'm nervous. I use my sense of humor, and I just told my story from my perspective. Anyway, and as I told that story, the time flew by. We got to the end. I delivered some messages and just said thank you very much. But what I've never been taught in all of my time with standing up with is, how do you finish something like this?
Yeah,
Right?
that's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah.
I know how to start one, but I didn't know how to finish. So I look round and I'm thinking, right, this is my time's up now. I've got to be conscious of time. So I went, um, cheers for everybody listening. Thanks very much. And I started to walk up the aisle. Anyway, there's a round of applause goes up. And
Nice.
I honestly thought that somebody else had come in. I didn't realize it was for me. So you make that connection, and this is where this storytelling journey has happened. I've been on various different shows, various different promoters, and I've just gone in and kept that same mentality that I'm just a truly blessed person that's been loaned a gift. So when I connect in with people's energies, that's what I stick with. I am not big headed. I am not interested in whether people think I'm any good or not. I am rough. I am common. I will give exactly what is needed. I get asked to a lot of places once. Don't always get invited back the second time. But my love and my respect for not only spirit but also clients' energy is like at the utmost of my ethics. But, and like we were saying off camera, the thing about this is there's a price for that as well. So
Yeah.
if you come to me looking for what I call a fluffy bunny reading, you pick the wrong person. I tell people as I pick it up, if you want cute and fluffy, buy yourself a kitten. But
Right.
rest assured that the guarding me, the prison officer, is always going to be wanting to be on protection. He's always going to be wanting me there while you're looking in the dark spaces, while you're dealing with some of the harder stuff in your life. And I see myself like I don't know, spiritual spark plug. So a healer of healers, which it doesn't always have to be hands-on. You can work with people's energies and rearrange with things like that. So I'm passionate about how people speak, how they process. And then to add to this skill set, my dad passed away quite suddenly, and I discovered him, and it triggered something. And what I believe it triggered was an awareness of neurodiversity, potentially ADHD, and all of the rest of those sort of things. So this is
Yeah.
all now gone into my toolbox. So I get people that will sit in front of me consistently and go, "You're going to think I'm mad when I say this." And I go, "Really?" You've got an ex-prison officer who wouldn't have believed in any of this years ago, that has had a spiritual awakening, has been through God knows how much with my own energy, my own doubts, my own insecurities. And if you'd have said to me 10 years ago that this was where I was going to end up, I would have laughed you out of Lincoln. And yet here I am on yet another podcast, looking out to help people deal with whatever blockages that they've got. And that's how I work. I am just interested in clients' well-being and welfare, and I'm very passionate about doing it. I do struggle with time blindness. I do struggle with knowing when to shut up. But I'm always running behind time. Like I've had 4 clients today, and not one of them's been on time because I get something into my head, and it's like a driver. It's like, so I am the world's crappiest businessman, right? Because if I was paid per minute, I give so much away, because what I look at is I want to help people, and any sort of learning that I can do to get into people's minds. So I've took courses on analytical hypnotherapy, so I help relax people, NLP, Reiki master, right? I'm none of those labels, but I'm all of them.
That sounds amazing.
So when you said to me, write yourself a bio, I'll tell you what happened in my mind. What the hell?
Oh dear.
I just didn't have a clue. And I said to the wife, what do I put? She said, just put what you need to put. What have you put on your mediumship page? So what I sent you was something that I copied and pasted from my mediumship page, and thought it will match where it needs to match. And if there's anything else that needs to be brought out, then we'll be in the space to bring that out.
I cheat. I put it into ChatGPT and it rewords it in my style of podcasting. So that's what's come out. So I can send that to you. But that's like amazing.
That. I thought that was an amazing introduction. It's just one of those where you go, how the hell do I live up to that?
Is that me? So I'm also very direct like you. And although for me, when I do readings and when I do events, the timekeeping is spot on for me sometimes, because I channel meditations and they're spot on with that. So my gatekeeper's like, doof, stop now. So I don't have the same problem.
I have got a clock here. What can't speak can't lie. That clock has been with me all day. It sits in front of me, so I glance at it. I do not see it. Absolutely useless with timekeeping and keeping on track, because it's like having in your brain somebody kicking over a load of tartan paint, letting off some fireworks, and then letting a bag of squirrels loose in your head, and then somebody saying to you, right, you need to now keep focused, because this isn't about you. This is about channeling messages.
That's
but
amazing.
have you thought about, so it's either me that's got this neurodiversity, or my guide is bringing in such chaotic energy. But it's one of those, it's like you get on the ride, you enjoy the ride. Because the aim always is consistent for me. As long as anybody that has a reading with me or a consultation does not leave any lower than when they started with me, then I've done a good job. Because what I'm going to do with people is I'm going to plant seeds. I'm going to put different ways of looking at things. What I found when I had my own counselling was that regurgitating huge chunks of your life and then putting it back to you and then saying, well, how does that look from that perspective? I didn't find very beneficial. It caused me a lot of anxiety and a lot of nerves. So what I do is I'm going to spend time with people and finding out how they process the content that goes through their mind. Then I'm going to mirror that and I'm going to match it. And I'm going to say, so how would you like to perceive what you've got going through there, and how can we work with it? So if spirit was coming to you, for instance, and I'm looking at your energy now, I've got a lady's energy that comes through to you, right? She comes in and she's offering support. She's telling me she calls a spade a spade. You're not getting a big hug. You're basically getting a punch in the arm, because she's giving you a big shove to get your arse in gear. Sorry, I'm not going to dress around it, but get your arse in gear. So it's getting yourself organised.
I told you, I've lost my mojo. So.
And this is what she's saying, but you haven't. It's just the way that you're looking at it at the moment. She said, you're not to be too harsh on yourself. or she's going to come down and she's going to have a word with you herself. And she says, you don't want to be messing with me.
Okay.
Now, where did that message come from, right? So people will go, where did you get that from? And I'll go, I don't know. I do know it's come through spiritually, because I've
Yeah.
agreed when I started out this morning, I do my opening up procedure, I will bring that message in. I don't literally see spirit. I sense, I feel, I listen out for the vibration and the verbals that come through with it. So I asked the question, are you male or female? Female. Right. Give me some of your speech. Give me some of your ways about like that. And and this is what starts coming through my head. So she's got no time for nonsense, right? She's got no time for excuses. She's very, very busy, very, very sort of a little bit uppity, right? And I'm just challenging her energy. I've got no time for messing about. Don't give me any of your excuses. And if you notice the change in my voice, that is just bringing through her energy. She won't take no for an answer. So whatever you're doing at the moment, you need to sort of settle that with her, in the sense of, right,
Okay.
I'm doing the best that I can, or whatever. Or go into a meeting, go into a meditation with her, because she is dragging you by hook or by crook through these next couple of weeks. Right.
Right.
And that's how I work with people. Now, when people go away, it is not my responsibility how you receive that message. And the reason I
Yeah.
say that is not because I'm not bothered, it is because it's not my message.
Yeah.
Right. Now, there'll be elements of it that you'll go, no, I'm not quite sure who that is. But when you go home, you will find who this lady is, because she will come and see you.
Well, if
And
that's for
however
me,
you
then that's
sense
me
spirit, and
mother.
then
It sounds like my mum. So yeah.
that's how it's being brought through. Now, the thing is with me, I will take no's off people. So if people go, no, I don't understand that, I tell them to take it with them. This is with standing up on
Yeah.
stage there and being nervous about dealing with other people's energies and the people that they've lost. Obviously, I want to get it right. But here's the thing that I always remember when I stand in front of that audience, that I don't have my teacher with me. I don't have all of my friends and buddies around me to keep me propped up. I've got myself and my faith in spirit. Now,
Yeah.
spirit, the universe, the guides, the gods, the angels, whatever you want to call them, have never put me in a place where I'm going to get embarrassed. So for me, spirit are never wrong. Now, the thing is, the way that I perceive the information that spirit are giving me, oh God, yeah, I can be wrong. But if you pick up the pieces, because I was one of these that I've been to see countless amounts of mediums, and I've gone, how come they can get names, addresses, and birthdays and things like that, and I get this little tail end of a thing? And my guide came through, which I wasn't sure about at the beginning, because again, I wasn't sure how I'm supposed to feel it. People, oh, you've got a Native American Indian, or you've got a nurse, you've got a soldier. And I'm going,
Yeah.
how the hell do you know all of that?
Yeah.
And anyway, came through in the bit of meditation that I could manage, and said, the trouble is with you is you focus on the postman coming down the path to deliver the letter. Whereas what you need to start focusing on now is give who the postman is,
Yeah.
but focus more on what the contents of the letter are. So
That
your
makes
postman
sense.
is a lady.
Yeah.
The contents of the letter are from somebody that you know. She's not going to say too much, because behind this lovely face and energy that I'm seeing here is quite a shy person. So for you to work out in a public arena, right, it is not always easy. So you
No.
have to go through whatever you have to go through to put your mask on. And she's saying,
Yes.
all that being said, we've got to rewind a little bit of stuff, and we've got to go again. Right.
Right.
Now, this is just my running commentary that's coming through. It is not verbatim. It's not like the film where you're doing with Patrick Swayze and Ghost, where somebody stood behind me, massaging my shoulders and whispering sweet nothings into my ear, because it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So what I do is, for half an hour, I imagine going onto stage and putting on a performance for an audience member of one.
Right.
So you'll bring your tarot cards in, your angel cards, and your angel cards are, and your tarot cards tell a story, or that's the way that I work with them. Spirit and your spiritual guests are your guest stars. They're like the cameo appearance. So I may well be working on the psychic vibration, where I'm working with cards and I'm delivering the messages off the cards. That is not mediumship. That
Right.
is working with an energy vibration. So as I'm trying to control my energy when I'm reading psychic, I can be me.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have to be the spiritual person, because I've agreed that I'm just going to connect in and work with the psychic vibration. However, spirit might be bringing in a message, in which case then I'm part of the spiritual team and I'll jump to that message. So you can imagine somebody that's got the neuro spicy mind like I've got, it's quite a circus up there. And
Yeah.
trying to separate the two bits so you can go, right, psychically, I think you're on this vibration. Mediumship wise, you've got this lady coming in and she's delivering this. Oh, and by the way, how do you feel at the moment? Because for a healer, you feel quite drained at the moment. So I'm saying to my guides, right, send us some energy. So there's all of that going on in that thing. And people don't see this. I
Yeah.
promise you guys that are listening, I have been more exhausted after doing an afternoon of readings than I've ever had done of doing a week of work, because you're pulling a higher vibration. So when you're in the stage that you're at the moment, you're in for a refuel. You're having your energies uplifted. But to go up to that next level and work with that higher vibration, you've got to clear out all of the sludge. I call it mind treacle. And if you're treading through your mind treacle,
Yeah.
all of that has got to be washed away so that you can get the clarity that you need to make that next step. Because looking backwards won't prove anything to you. One of my big things has been recently is saying to people, imagine going to the pictures, and I want everybody to try and take this on board. Imagine going to the pictures. From what I've been told, it's a very expensive thing these days. So you go 30 quid, let's say. I'm just saying off the top of my head because I haven't been for a long while. So it's 30 quid to watch a film. You buy your popcorn, you buy your glass of pop, you buy your bag of sweets, and you sit there and you've been really excited. You've been looking forward to coming and seeing this film. Anyway, you sit there and you watch it, you sit through it for 2 hours and you go, what a load of shit that was. Right. So you sit there at the end and you're all upset because you've been in an experience that you really didn't like, you're really upset by, you've wasted your money. I could have been at home doing 1,001 different jobs. Right. So you come out with that mentality and that attitude. Ask yourself this. Well, when you've made that decision that you just watched a shit film and had a shit experience, would you book to go back next week to prove to yourself that your first inclination was correct? Of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't go back and watch a bad film over and over again.
Yeah.
But the problem is with people is with their traumas, with their difficulties, who said what to who made me feel like that, is that you continually watch the same film and go, well, if I edited it different and I looked at it different, well, it doesn't make any difference.
Exactly.
The moment has gone. It's how we respond to the moments that we're in now. And when
One
you
of
get
my
triggered,
sisters needs to book in with you for sure, because we had this conversation today and she was saying that somebody upset her, but then everything started to come back in. So it's like the whole library of films started to come back out. It was like that. So she definitely needs to book in with you.
but
Yeah, that's
the
true.
thing is,
Yeah.
when you actually admit that you're a simple-minded person, and I am, I look
Yeah.
for I do my readings in the style of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Then that way, when you're explaining to somebody, it's not complicated. It's just looking at, right, what is the simplest answer to this situation is usually the correct one,
Yeah.
right? So when people are constantly returning to something that they can't let go of, what are you looking to gain from it? Right? What
Exactly.
answer are you looking for that you haven't already got? Well, it's painful. Yes, it's painful. Now, what do you want to do with that lesson so it's caused you pain? Well, it'll give you an example of how you can avoid it in the future.
Yeah.
Right? There may be aspects of it that, yes, you could have handled it differently if it was different circumstances. Okay, great. Okay, thanks very much. So I've took all of that. So what's left of it? Crap, muck, rubbish, waste. And what do you do with muck, rubbish, or waste? When I get up on stage, and I'm not going to be very crude because we're recording here, but design a big effort bucket and chuck all of that crap and all of that waste in there, because if you can't use it, what's the
Yeah.
point in carrying it around for yourself to keep having a look back at it? So
Exactly.
I'm wary of the time with you. So
Are you
that
okay to pull a card for each of the ladies? Would that be okay?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So we've got
Right,
Lee first.
right. So Lee first. Right, let's just give these a good shuffle. Let's give these a good shuffle. Right. So Lee, what I'm hearing is that there's got to be some element of compromise around you, and that you need to now, when you need help and you're struggling with things, is that you need to ask for help and not be too awkward about asking for help. You can't do it all on your own. Right. Now, I don't know what's going on around you. So I've got a knight. So when a knight comes in, a knight is all about dynamic action, taking charges of situations. So your card is the Knight of Wands. Right, if we can just get that in camera shot there, beautiful card. Red is all about the root chakra and the foundations and structure. So building something new. When I get the Knight of Wands, this is usually about moving, right? Moving house, renovating properties, doing something that now suits you better other than what you're currently doing. So when I'm working with this energy, I'm looking at this and I'm going to give you a short, sharp message. It is time to get your big girl pants on, right? And make some positive decisions. If you're struggling with something and you don't quite understand what's going on around you, do not be frightened to ask for help, but quite equally, stop giving your power away so freely. Learn the word no. And I'll keep that short and sweet because this is a very fiery card there. This is basically saying, get a move on. This is the start of a long journey. This is a process. You are doing fine, my darling. This is not me. This is a gentleman in the spirit world. You are doing fine, my darling. Keep on fighting the good fight. Okay.
Brilliant. Very much spot on as well. Eyeballs.
Just trust them. Just trust them. Right,
Yeah.
Kathy. Right,
Yeah.
let's see where we're going. Let's see where we're going. Was that Kathy we're reading for next?
Yes.
Oh, now we're going to have to be really quick here because the three have fallen out, and I trust them when they're giving that. So chances, opportunities with the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is the card where I always say strike while the iron's hot. So one of the biggest things that I have a problem with is procrastination. I will think of 1,000 different reasons why I can't do something that will take me 12 minutes to actually complete when I get off my backside and do it. So instead of being in the moment of I'm not quite sure, right, if it doesn't truly suit you and you want to make those changes, then step away from it. Don't beat yourself up over missed opportunities. This is one, though, that we strike while the iron's hot. The Wheel of Fortune talks about taking chances, maybe stretching yourself outside your comfort zone, and it always talks about that whatever decision that you make going, and I feel it's over the next 3 or 4 weeks where the changes are going to come in for you. So over short order, that if it doesn't quite work out in the way that you're going to, that you expect it to, that you want it to, not to worry, because the wheel turns again. As long as you're at the Wheel of Fortune, you're in the right space to take the opportunities when they're there. It's when you're away, procrastinating, overthinking and overanalyzing and being in what if land. So turn up at the wheel, give it a spin and see where you're going to go with it. The Emperor talks about financial stability. And now the Emperor is, the Emperor is dressed in fine clothes. So he's a man of means. He knows how to organize people. He's stable. He's efficient. So what I'm going to say to you in regards to working with a lady's energy is saying to you that what you need to do now is speak clearly going forward. Speak your piece. You may well piss somebody off. And I'm sorry for the language, but this is the gentleman's energy I've got in the spirit world. You may well piss people off at times. So be it, right? If people are that flaky and that narrow-minded, that's on them. But there's something there where you need to have a serious discussion about the way that your life is in general. And if you're not happy about it, it is time to make those changes. And the key card for you, which fell out there, is the Eight of Cups. Now, this is a sense of abandonment and disappointment, right? Please do not misunderstand me. I am not dismissing anything that's emotional, that's been difficult, that's been going on around you. But this, when we get this card in there, is you have done your level best to deal with a situation that's around here that's been emotionally draining. It is not about grieving or anybody that's gone to the spirit world. This is about emotional stirrings, people that are probably not nice in the way that they deal with people. And you have kept the peace for quite a long time. When we've got this sense of like, oh, disillusionment, I've done my very best, It's a case of like drawing a line in the sand with something and moving on. So changing, walking on into blue skies, changing your direction, renewing your hope, and having the faith that you're going to be absolutely fine once you make your mind up. So none of the juggling, none of the battling with things that aren't going to serve any new purpose. New starts, fresh ways of looking at things, and crack on with it. Okay, so that's a very brief 3-card reading because they fell out.
Thank you very much.
Maria, did
Thank
you
you.
today?
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
All right, so Maria, let's see what we've got for you. I'm very, very much drawn. I can't see your face, but I'm very much drawn to pull an angel card for you.
Thank you.
So I'm on to the bottom of my card there. Your guides are saying that they're there for you whenever you're ready. Your angelic connection could just do with a little bit of sharpening up, because your frequency, you're not putting it up high enough. You're not trusting yourself to work with those spirit guides. Right, they trust you. So communicate with them and tell them exactly what you need. Right, so you have got decision. Oh, right, it's purple. Purple is all about your third eye. It is all about your spiritual connection. It's what I call the factory. So in the energy center in there, you see, you sense, you feel. Right. What I'm being told is that you have been very spiritual from a very, very young age, but you've dipped in and out of it. So now I get the sense, without knowing you, that you've got what I call a self-deprecating sense of humor, where you will take the piss out of yourself so that other people don't get in there first. Right. I'm asking you, in fact, I'm almost begging you here to just over these next few months, take yourself seriously. And anybody who sort of demeans you or belittles you or laughs at you, it's time to put some distance between you and them. Now, I'm not talking about arguing or fighting with anybody. What I'm talking about is drawing a line under things, discipline, boundaries, right? And looking after your best interest. It's all right making people laugh and giving them upliftment, but at what cost? So your message: release yourself from that which holds you back. A need to detox. Sorry, I've got a lady's energy in and around you that is, if you see the way that I'm sort of stuttering and stammering there a little bit, I get the tap on the back of the head. So this lady either had dementia, Alzheimer's, or a stroke condition, anything that affected her ability to speak. She's coming in to work around you, and she's talking about your confidence has took a knock. She said she's telling you, though, it's temporary, because about 10 years ago, you had a real blip, whether that was something going on in your own mind or an illness yourself. And you come back from that, and you will come back from whatever it is that's knocking you back at the moment. So unnecessary worry based on a lack of self-confidence. So we've got a caged bird there, Maria. So what that card is telling me is it's time to fly, my pretty. It's time to fly. Okay,
that sounds good.
It's all uplifting. We don't do any darkness or negativity in this house.
No, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. That was so good.
Yes, very good.
That was brilliant. Would you? I'll go on. Pick one card for me, please. Sorry.
Okay. Right.
You should get chocolate.
You've done this several times since we've been talking, and this is what I want to. The message I want to leave with you: stop apologising for being you. Right. You've asked for a card, and Spirit will respond. So don't be apologising for it. You need it. You're just the same as everybody else that comes on here. You do the brunt of the work. I just hit around with cards and things like that. So this is about you, renewal, invigoration of your energy. Right. I'm going to quickly pull you 3 of these angel oracle cards.
Okay.
Right. I sense, and this will be something for you to look at, because I don't know this to be correct, but you have got new guides coming in with you.
Yeah, that's true.
And you've got new guides coming in because there's something that needs changing on your healing journey. Right. This is where they're taking you up to that next vibration. Pay particular attention to your dreams at the moment. So it's important that you keep on top of your journaling. Right. What you heard 2 days ago or 3 days ago should now start to make more sense. Something that came in, whether you was in a meditative state, whether you was in that sort of off state, but there's something that you heard the other day that you sort of went, really? It will start making sense over the course of this week. They're basically opening doors for you. So have a look at the menu, right? But don't be afraid to say no. And do not apologize for changing direction if that's what you see fit. Only speak to people around you that share your sense of value and that increase your self-worth. Do not try and educate pork, as my granddad would say. So don't argue with idiots. Right.
Okay.
Abundant. You're probably a lot better than me at this because I can't always wrap my head around it, but this is a manifestation card. Abundance can come in many forms, but we've got to be open to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not worthy, I'm not very good, I'm not confident, I've got anxiety, I've got You put a nice sticky little label, but unfortunately for you at the minute, you put that nice little sticky label across your glasses. So take your glasses off, give them a good clean, and then start to see things clearly, because you can manifest the abundance that you want. So finances, I'm sorry to deliver this bad news for you. You're never going to be a rich lady, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
But spirit are never going to leave you short.
Okay.
So if you want the extra, you've got to go the extra mile. Right. Dealing with your security. Right. So this is grounding. This is teaching you to suck eggs, to be absolutely honest, but do what you do best.
Okay.
Right. Don't put up this scaffold around you that you're making reasonings, excuses, or whatever. Just take it all down. At times, just be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're not going to be everybody's audience. Like I'm not. I just know that I've got this passion, this drive to help people, and that keeps me going through all of the dark spots. I've had a very busy day today, and what will happen is when I go downstairs and I switch off and wind down, I will have the usual doubts and could I have handled this and all of this, right? But tomorrow morning I'll get up ready to go again.
Yeah.
So what all of these doubts and insecurities that you've been having at time, put them in the history book and never bloody look at them again. Right, and lastly, healing. Oh,
Yeah.
great. So this is my fight or flight card.
Okay.
And remember this, when we're in fight or flight, and this is for everybody, and we're in stress or anxious mode, trauma, all of that is feeling, right? And what happens is, oh my God, I'm under attack. I've got to run away or I've got to fight. So all of non-essential stations, including the brain, that can actually solve this problem, goes off on a wobbly somewhere, goes off on a holiday, goes off on a joint. So this is like bringing you back to basics of just going all of these lovely little scenarios that you're drumming up with. You're the bad guy. You've done everything bad. You've got guilt. You've got anxiety. You've got depression. You've got right. Is it real? Or is it a thought that has been generated and you've agreed to it? Because once you agree to a thought becomes a belief becomes a pattern, and then we start to do things consistently along a road that we don't want to be down. So the piece that you're looking for, I'm looking at her, she's got all of the answers. All you've got to do is just put one foot in front of the other and you will be okay. And on that, I'll zip up.
Thank you, that was amazing. Oh, that was so good.
Is there any chance he could slip a card out for Pete?
Oh, sorry, I forgot about Pete.
Yes,
Pete's his partner. Sorry, Pete.
Right, so Pete, I've got a gentleman's energy coming in with you, and I don't know if this makes any sense or not. I'm not going to say that you got on really well with this gentleman. It's kind of like we would have butted heads, but you don't have to keep explaining yourself. He's talking about letting bygones be bygones in a certain way, and don't carry any more weight about who said why, where, what. It's time to sort of free yourself. So the changes that I feel are coming in and around you are paced at a way that you can cope with. So don't be looking at who you was 5 years ago, because that is now irrelevant. This is who you are now, the energy that you're at now. You've evolved. So don't let old stuff drag you back. So tarot, let's see what goes with that. You've had 2 fall out. So you've got the Wheel of Fortune. So this is one of the things, whether you make lists or whether you're one of these that overanalyzes and procrastinates, this is, again, strike while the iron's hot, because opportunities don't always come knocking a second time. So whatever the changes that you're contemplating on making, like I said to one of the previous ladies, take yourself seriously. Go and do some research. See if it's feasible. See if it's in your reality. So when the Wheel of Fortune is going, it's fortuitous. So there's nothing negative coming your way, but you've kind of like got to get out of your own way. Don't bog yourself down in other people's drama. So just because you can do something, don't give away your time for free. The other card that you got that fell out there was the 8 of Wands. And if we can just get that in camera shot there, he says just moving that there. The 8 of Wands is the start of a journey, right? And it's very much a fast-paced journey. Things starting to take off. In its literal sense, can indicate air travel, so going off on a holiday. But I like to have it more of the sense of number 8 is the month of August. And August, September, October is going into a harvest period. So what you've put into place at the beginning of the year should now be starting to pay off. I sense that there's certain elements around you that are a little bit disappointing to you. So this is a good indicator that now that when we get to February and March of next year, if you want big changes, you've got to plant better seeds and nurture them a little bit better. So by the time you get to September and October of next year, you'll be more clear on what your direction is. Okay. And that is what I've got for you, my friend.
Great stuff. He's looking happy with that.
That's good.
That's brilliant, thank you. So I've got your website, it's rickpaulspiritualmedium.co.uk, and you do online readings, and you do readings in Lincoln as well, which look very reasonable actually. And so that sounds amazing. Tell everybody how they can connect with you on social media.
I'm on Facebook with my Rick Paul Spiritual Medium and Psychic. And where my heart is, and I'm not dismissing spirit here, is I've got my analytical thought page there, which is my other one where I talk about the neurodiversity and working with different mindsets and things like that. And having the neurospicy brain, I can't remember what the title is, but if you look under my profile, it does pop up there. I have got, I believe, a sweatshirt on there. And this is where I work with people's energy. So spiritual connection, you could get part of spirit coming in, but it's more than likely listening to your speech pattern, working with your energy that's around you, problem solving, like how, like I said to you off screen, how people talk, how people act, how they understand what's going on around, what outcome they want to do. And people seem to come and sit with me, and it doesn't matter where I go, whether I'm out just doing whatever I do, people come and sit with me. And I get to know all sorts, and I just sit there and then I work with them. And that's how I do it. I'm a gob on a stick, like I said to you at the beginning.
On your website, it says, where is it? I am what I am. I do what I do. I am just me.
Yeah. And where that came about, just very briefly, a lady came to sit with me at one of the first shows that I did, and she said, and she sat down and she was a little bit dismissive of me. She sort of looked me up and down and she went, "So what do you do?" I went, "I don't know." She said, "Well, that's not very helpful, is it?" And she was that tone of voice. I got the wobbly head. "Well, that's not very helpful, is it?" And I said, "I'm just me. Right? I don't know what I'm going to give to a client till they sit with me. I'm not going to sit there and go, 'Oh, darling, listen to me. Sit down and have counsel with me. I will solve your every problem,' because it's not me. Right? I like to make people laugh. I like to entertain people. I like to give people upliftment. So when I work with them, they're likely to have difficulties, dark places. And I sit down, and the idea is to bring their vibration down to a calmer level. Once you get them down to a calmer level, you can start to work. Right. Spirit are telling me this. Right. Does that make sense? Yes or no? If it does, great. We'll give you more of that. If it doesn't, no. Right. So why is Spirit telling me about this? And then gradually people are just going, "Well, I've never thought about it like that." So once they leave the area, they've gone home with a perspective from somebody who's not judging them whatsoever, because I live a very human life as well. And I know I have a tendency to cock things up, and I say inappropriate things, and I swear when I shouldn't. And I don't always get invited back to places because I've been very blunt and direct. Am I going to change my style of approach?
No.
I couldn't give a rat's off. No, I'm not going to change because that client has come to me and they've been guided to me because of what I do. So that's why I sit in front of that banner. I am what I am, which is, I embrace all of it. I get embarrassed
Yeah.
like anybody else, because there's sometimes when I go home and I'm driving home and going, oh my word, did I really say that? But I could apologize profusely. I could give you all of the reasons why I've done that. But I tell you what, it's like having a brain fart, because in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I learned nothing from it. My enthusiasm to give out what I want is best for people. And
Yeah.
I just do me. And
Yeah.
people will have to take that chance when they have a reading with me, that I'm going to deliver what they need.
Yeah.
Because I don't care how good you are, how famous you are, there is nobody out there that can 100% guarantee that they're going to deliver what you need. So you're always open to interpretation. All I can say is that all the readings, all the consultation is designed to bring in upliftment. Darkness is not allowed, because it just doesn't give me anything to work with.
Yeah.
So just be you, and then the world
Amazing.
will adjust.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.